Welcome to The Mind of Money. My name is Douglas Lodmell, and we're continuing our conversation with Glenn Morelli, who has run one of the largest e-commerce sites in the country. I mean, really, what you've done is really impressive, Glenn. I mean, oldglory.com is, I mean, you do, I mean, thousands, if not, how many transactions a year do you do?
We do a little over 300,000 orders a year.
300,000 orders, wow. And so, and this is merch from all across the board. I mean, it's very interesting that you've been able to expand into, you know, all the different areas.
We stay within three basic categories, which would be music, entertainment, and sports related.
Yeah, pretty much covers every piece of licensed merch out there.
It's a good piece of the pie for sure.
Yeah, that's great. So, well, what we were talking about was very interesting. We were talking about the evolution of your business, how it went from 5% internet to 95% internet over the last 15 years. How out of all of that, your real gold, the thing that is probably the most valuable to you today, if somebody said, we're going to take away your warehouse, we're going to take away your database, you'd say, take my warehouse, I'll keep my database.
That's right, that database is very important.
Yeah, because I mean, it's your capacity to know who's buying what, to remarket to them. And then we talked about websites and how they've evolved. And I do think you're right. I think that what's happening is very interesting. Where do you see websites going in the next 5 years, 10 years?
Well, it's very interesting. It's not just the websites, Doug, but also there's now with the social media play going on.
Yes.
You know, with your Facebooks, your Twitter, MySpace. The way people are talking on the internet, it's hard to believe almost email is becoming obsolete now.
Ironic, isn't it?
No, but the plateau is set a lot higher now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to compete. The future companies that deal and become profitable over the internet, you can't ship an order in the e-commerce 3 days or 4 days down the line.
Right, it's got to ship that day, right?
It's got to ship that day, or you shouldn't be in business. You can't compete.
Right.
And it's just reaching and marketing and merchandising your product. You have to be up on the Twitters, the Facebooks, the MySpaces, wherever your customer resides. You have to be there at the right time and at the right place.
Well, and what's interesting, again, for a lot of business owners, let's go back to our dentist. They're not used to this. They've never done it. They got a website because somebody said you should put one up, maybe even their kids or some of their employees. And so they did it. They paid somebody $4,000 or $5,000. They put up a website, and it's been there for 10 years. It has their name, address, and phone number, and a picture of their staff that's probably out of date. And they think that they're on the web. I also read an interesting statistic. 54% of all businesses in the United States aren't even on the web in that way. So if we take that, combined with people who are on the web, kind of, compare it to what you're talking about, it's just really still the tip of the iceberg.
Sure, there's a lot of growth. And the leaders of the field, be it a dentist, be it your field, the attorney, they're going to figure it out. And you will have, you will be able to see it. You could put the word dentist in your hometown, and as you mentioned before, there might be 20, 30 dentists, but the top 3 or 4 is what's going to show up on top. Hopefully they did their homework with the organic search or their SEO.
Or their pay-per-click, they're coming up.
Pay-per-click, and they're coming up. But they still have to go further than that.
Right.
The client's going to look at those 3 websites and is going to decide which one looks Mickey Mouse, which one looks professional. And then if that one that looks professional has the needs for what they're going to do, odds are they're going to win their customer. The days of the yellow pages and newspaper ads and other ways of getting their client base, those are gone. Everybody goes right now to Google and types in what they're looking for, the town that it's in, and they want instant gratification. If you can't give them instant gratification, somebody else will, and they'll take their business.
Wow, it's hearing that, it's either you hear that as a fantastic opportunity, or it's really scary for a lot of businesses.
well, it is an opportunity, and it has to be seized. The people that aren't going to seize the opportunity or do nothing are going to fall by the wayside. Sure, they'll stay in business and they'll keep going, But you have to be a leader, and marketing and getting to that customer on the internet. That's where everybody's going now. This is the yellow pages of 2011 now. That's how everybody finds everybody.
I know I do. I mean, I don't even think they deliver phone books to me anymore. And if they do, I don't keep them.
Sure.
I mean, it's on my phone, it's on my computer. And you're right. I mean, I can't believe it, but now I see myself communicating. I get an email saying that I have a Facebook message, and that's how somebody wants to talk to me.
Right.
And it's talk about trying to keep up. And, you know, we're not generation Y or whatever the next one is. I mean, we're the old dogs now. And yet we still have to keep up. If we don't, somebody's going to come and take the space.
Sure, sure. You have to bring in personnel. You could be a professional dentist, and you just can't hire everybody that does dental work. You need somebody that does some marketing for you.
Right.
Either bring somebody internal, which I highly recommend because you have control of it.
If you're big enough. For some businesses, it's not quite, they probably can't afford full-time.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if somebody said to you before that it increased your sales by 25% or to a third.
I could afford it.
Yeah, I could afford it real quick.
That's
Maybe
right.
you can't afford it.
That's right.
Be a way to word it.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a really great point. I think those businesses that don't have an internet budget to speak of need to start changing their mind and realizing that it is critical. You can't go without an internet budget nowadays.
Sure, sure. You have to put something towards it, and you religiously have to keep at it. It's not something you just build a website and say, hey, we have a website, and go. You have to have somebody over watching it and staying up with the times.
Oh yeah, yeah, all the time. Yeah, even down to the point where, you know, maybe you're having your staff tweet for you once a day,
Sure.
Post for your Facebook, you know, and make sure that you're staying in the social networking side of it as well.
Sure.
And they're doing it anyway, so you might as well have them do it for you.
That's right. There's a lot of this isn't so much brain surgery. It's just actually just getting down to it and staying on top of it.
Right. So so before we end, what would you give as a piece of maybe the advice you give to somebody that is entering the e-commerce world or the internet world, and they're just looking to do what you did 16 years ago? What today would you say, do these things, get this right?
Well, I would just have to say, make it happen. I mean, a lot of businesses out there just it puts it on a priority list, and it's not too high on the priority list. And a lot of the professions are so back in the dark ages that if they did put it up on the priority list, they could increase sales quickly and vastly to an amount of, like I said, 25, 30, maybe 50% in the first year alone.
Right.
People are on the internet and they're looking for those services. You could find out through Google's analytics how many people are actually looking for those particular terms, and it'll blow your mind if you realize that there was 20,000 people in your local area of Lyme, Connecticut, searching for a dentist, and
you weren't there.
You weren't there, and your competition, they went somewhere.
Yeah, they did go somewhere.
They for sure did.
I think that's a great piece of advice. Just do it. Just make this part happen. Change your mind and make this real for your business.
It helped me, that's for sure.
Ah, that's great. So, well, I want to tell everybody, you know, if you want to see Glenn's amazing website, go to oldglory.com. You can get anything there, and it's really a cool website. And of course, you know, I like to brag about you a little bit. His customer service is through the roof. You know, returns. You know, that's the other thing. You've got people won't accept it unless it's, you know, something's wrong. Send it back. Send them a new one right away.
Sure, we believe that's what made Zappos popular. You said Amazon has great service. We tend to pride ourselves on great service too, for sure.
Yeah, Glenn, thanks for joining me. I hope you'll come back to the Mind of Money.
I sure will.
All right.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us on the Mind of Money. My name is Douglas Lodmell, and we'll see you next time.